I don't want to forget to record it so we have something to reference back and
True.
stuff.
True.
First of all, thank you so much for being community members. Second of all, I hope this stuff helps you guys, because that's what we want to do, is try and help at least once a month to do a workshop, and also the shows, just our regular shows on Wednesday, invite you in afterward. I think there's some very great resources with those people that do the shows and that after party. I mean, 3 people learned something. I wrote it down as everybody that learned something after the show was over. So those kind of things that's for the community can be huge. And Heidi, I will say, I know that you're in a different time zone. I know that's difficult. I get it. I don't expect you to come in at 3 a.m. I hate that you missed that part of it, but I also understand. You can only do so much, right? So that's why I want to do these kind of things, especially like on Saturday mornings for us. It's a good time to incorporate and get everybody from around the world that we can. So that being said, let's get right into it. I'm going to actually show you what my goal is today. Heidi put a comment in the community, so we're going to try and work that out, see if we can't help her get that solved if it's not already solved. And then also I'm going to take the game show and I'm going to take every source that I have. You're going to kind of see the things that I have going on and what I'm doing, just so you can get an idea of how I set it up, placement, like where I put certain things, how I use it, as far as, like I said, how it may help you, or you might trigger something in your mind, say, wow, you know what? I need to do that with mine, or I need this backdrop, and we're going to actually make a backdrop for the show, or an overlay for the show, so you can see exactly how I do that. So that's going to be a benefit too for you to see that actual process. And this is going to be great for anybody that comes back, because you're going to see how that starts to finish. And I use Pixlr to do that. So I'm going to show you that as well. So that's what I got on the game plan. But at any time, you guys stop me in the middle of it, because I'm not going to remember to come back to it or whatever. Even though I might cover it in the future, I might just say, hey, I know I'm going to cover that, and we'll come back to it. But don't hesitate to interrupt, because I want you to, because I get to rolling. I get to rolling in doing this. So I just want to make sure that you guys ask your questions, because I don't claim to be an expert, but I'm going to help you try and find it. Let's work together to try and find it. That's the way I look at it too. So anyway, and I think, I love my shows that I do. I'm very proud of them. I think I've done pretty well with it actually too. If you go back and watch, they're really kind of cool. And that's what's fun to me. You know what I'm saying? It's just fun to me to be able to do that. So, and provide that. So let me see if I got here. Yes. Okay. I'm all ready. I'm going to screen share now. When I get ready to start the game show, this is what it looked like. Can you guys see the screen okay, or no? Did I get the right one? Okay, good. I just want to make sure I got the right one. Okay. So that has my OBS. I have a countdown timer that I do for each contestant. I have to start and stop that, reset it. That's part of the process that's going on in the background. Then over here is where I put in the scores. I just have a spreadsheet that I add the score in, and you get the points and all that kind of stuff, and it adds it. But that's a whole different thing. I could go into a whole thing on how I set that spreadsheet and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to get into that. OBS. So the first thing I wanted to do was create an intro. Okay. Now you're not going to hear the sounds, because I don't want to bog you down with the sounds right now, but the sounds will be playing. And how I know the sounds are playing, they're bouncing over here. Okay. You can see that the intro from this video that I put in here, I created this video, and then you see, and it'll come up. There you go. And now it started the music and everything. So it's playing. That's my intro. And I have extra sources in here. This is what I kind of wanted to show you and tell you. I have extra sources that I use sometimes. So with that, I can show you things like, sometimes you have to have extra sources in there that you're not even using, like I have a capture card. Okay. I'm going to go to the second one, which is my 7 folks. Okay. I have 3, 4, 5, 6 sources. What I have is, and I'm going to turn these all, I'm going to unlock them. This is a good habit to get into, so you don't move things when you don't want to, is always lock these. So that way you're not, if I want to move my Zoom capture, I'm going to take and lock everything but the Zoom capture. So that way I don't accidentally move this red bar. Because if the red bar is there and the zoom capture, oops, I grabbed the wrong thing because it's not locked. And I do that quite often. So what I have to do is lock that. So now the only thing I can move, because it's the only thing unlocked, is I can move the zoom capture. That's a great, if you don't learn anything else today, that's probably the best thing you can do, is get into this habit of locking everything except for the thing you're working on. Now, if I do want to work on the red one, then I'm going to lock the zoom and unlock this. So now when I move it, I'm actually moving the red bar, the bar around it, okay? But just to show you some of the elements and the sources and some things that I'm using, I'm going to unlock them just so you can see. So when I turn them all off, I can turn them all off. Boom, boom, boom. They're all gone. And I can bring them in one at a time. I got a plus word red. That's a square that I used when I used to have my video in there, because I used to have the zoom. And in Zoom, the middle top picture is always yourself. So that's what I wanted to block. I blocked it and put a logo there so all the other people would show up. Well, I learned to hide myself when I go into Zoom. So now I don't have to worry about that, but I kept it around just in case I wanted to use it. And notice it's on the top. I had it on the top layer, okay? If you think of this like I'm laying down pieces of clear plastic with certain things on each clear plastic. So this is on the top layer. So we're going to work backwards so you can kind of see. This is the capture card. What the capture card is, I have a capture card that can bring in my actual video camera. So I could show a behind the scenes showing back here with my video camera that I hook in, plug in. That's a whole different thing. And I was testing some stuff with it. So I left it there so I could test it. Don't need that. But then the next layer brings in a zoom capture. There's your guys' video. Then I have the 7 blank red green. What that is a green in the middle, but red around the outside. This gives me my border. And then I have the plus word logo. I can bring that little hand with the plus word logo. I can bring that in. I'm laying clear glass or plastic sheets, clear plastic sheets with just those individual things and layering them on top of each other. I can bring in another plus word logo. Remember what I said about the red? I had the red, and then I used to put the plus word logo on top of it. But I did this on purpose so you guys could see today. I have it in the wrong order. My piece of plastic is in the wrong place because I put the red square on top of the logo. So what I need to do is, obvious to me, but not obvious to everybody, I need to put the logo on top of the red square. So when I move it up here, boom, now it's on top of there. So I like to make sure that all those layers are in place. Okay, so I don't need the capture card. I can get rid of that because I don't use that anymore, okay? And I can have, I don't really need these two anymore because I don't do that. I don't have to do that because I bring in the 6 individual and hide myself in the Zoom because I learned how to do that, okay? So that is that one scene. So every time after the intro goes, and it goes through the intro, as soon as it's done, I quickly click, or I have a stream deck that I do it, but you can click right here on the OBS and it takes me right to the 7 people. So it has us all talking and that kind of thing. Then I do individual introductions, okay? And if you notice down here, spot 1, spot 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? We have 5 people in here right now. Imagine if you had 6, 1, 2, 3 across, and then 4, 5, 6 right below that. So I want to show and introduce these people individually, one at a time. I know in the top left corner is number 1. Then the next person is number 2 in the middle top. And then over in 3 is the third person, and that's the top right. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can bring them in individually at the beginning of the show. Now, why do I have this down here if I have everything? See, because I like to keep everything that's working at the top. These are the windows that I'm going to be toggling through the whole time. I just do this at the beginning. So it's down at the bottom. I remember to do it and I hit each one, but I leave them at the bottom. I leave them at the bottoms because they're only going to use them once. So that's the key there. That's the key is really the intro. I could move it to the bottom as well, But you guys know how badly I mess up the sounds and forget to turn the sound back on and all that kind of stuff. So I try and keep that in my face for the very beginning, because it's really the only time when the intro is going, I mute everybody from the Zoom. And then I bring in, the sound with the 7 folks. So that's kind of my process of what's going on while I'm doing the Plus Word show. So anyway, so what we're going to do here, so if I bring the top left, now this is going to be off kilter, and a lot of times, as you can see, this will happen. And I can't stand it, but this will happen. See how this comes up and it's not in the right place? It's not aligned or anything like that. That's very, very frustrating. And it happens to me almost every time. This is a glitch OBS has, and it frustrates you because I cannot expand that unless somebody is doing this and can teach me or show me, but I cannot hold the Alt key and expand that at all. Oh, there you go. So for some reason, when I double clicked it, that seemed to work. Okay. So see, I didn't even know that. And I've been having, so I have to come in every show. And at the beginning of the show, I have to come in, resize this, and I'm holding the Alt key to do this, to move this around. And trust me, I'm going to probably mess it up because I don't have 6 people in here. And Andy, you might be able to come in with 6, another person maybe, just to help me, just in case. But what
you want me to ring Roy in? I can do that.
But see, like right here might be the top 6, because I have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that might be my person in the top left. Okay. So I've got the size, I think, pretty close. We'll see when he brings that other person in. It might even be like right, I don't know. It could be right here. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm showing that person. But my problem is with that is I actually want this to be full screen, because I just want to show that individual person. So what I have to do is I have to size it up first, right, and then expand it to fit the screen. I know that seems kind of confusing, but I think as soon as Andy brings that other person in, I'll be able to show you better. Now I'm going to, and
I want to stop you there for 1 second, Michael. Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
When you get that source, and it's just a small little line in the top left-hand corner that you can't expand. If you were to click on that and transform it and fit it to screen, would it not size for you?
No, I've tried to hit that button and do that, and it just won't do it. I don't know why it won't do it.
Okay.
And it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to me because, okay, see, like I got you in the top left corner, so I might be able to do this one actually. See, that's pretty good, but it still leaves a black line. So I don't need there. Okay, so I can pull that up, and I'm moving this with my arrow on my keyboard, just very slightly. You can kind of see that green line moving. I want to make sure I have that. Boom. Okay, and Bill is centered. So what I want to do there, since I look on Zoom and see if he's centered, he is centered. So what I can do is I want to crop this side a little bit and bring that over. So now he's more centered on my page. I just made him more centered on my page. Now, the only thing I have in this one is a zoom capture. Here's where I was going to show you, I'm going to teach you and show you what I do when I create an overlay, okay? So I'm going to make it really simple. This is a 1280 by 70 on Pixlr that I'm doing just to show you what I'm doing. I'm going to take I'm going to get my red color. All right, I'm going to go to that, hit OK. I'm going to hit fill. I'm going to take my paint bucket and fill this whole area with red. Now I'm going to take an oval, okay? I'm going to change the color of the oval from black to green because I want to green screen this out. So it's real important to me to get a green color. And I want this oval right here, ellipse tool. Oops, I changed the color. Let me change it back. Just have to make sure, and this is this program. This is a whole different lesson, but I want to take it about right here and I want to fill it like something like that. Okay. I don't like that, so I'm going to undo it. I want to make it bigger because I only want just a little bit of a border, and kind of get each edge. Boom, I'm done. So I'm going to file, save. Okay, individual border, I've already named it. I'm going to make it a PNG just because I like PNGs, how they come through better than a JPEG for whatever reason. No real reason, but then I'm going to go to my game night, go to Plus Word. This is from September 2000. Okay, so here's where I have all of those. You can kind of see the green screens that I use, like even when the individual players, and you're going to see those in just a little bit, the players and stuff like that. Thank you, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have that. I'm going to save it there. It already says individual border, so I'm good. So now I have individual border. Now I'm going to take this away. Since I saved that as an individual border, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, since Bill's right here, I'm going to hit the plus sign to add a source. When I add the source, I'm going to add an image. I have a whole bunch of images that I can use, but it's not there yet. So I want individual border. Okay, that's just to name it, just so I can recognize it when I know when I come to it. I hit OK, then I have to go find it. So I go to Browse, and if you remember, I went into my Google Drive. I go into Game Night plus Word 2017, and then I just look for this one. There it is, individual border. You can see it right there. And if I hit Open, it puts it back there. Okay, you can see it kind of in the background where it hit the screen. I can hit Control F, and it'll expand to the screen. If I hit Control F, it'll fit the screen. That's a shortcut, but it's also in the menu. But I'm going to hit Control F so you can see it fit into the screen. Okay? I can right-click. I can go to Transform and Fit to Screen. If you look at the little down in the bottom corner, it says Control F is the shortcut for that. That's all I did. I just used it that way just so you can see there's two ways to do it, the same thing. All right. So I do want the red border on top. So I'm in the right place, the individual border, and I have the zoom capture. What's the first thing you do when you don't want to move one thing but you want to do the other? I lock the other thing. So I lock my zoom capture because I want to mess with this and only this. Now, I'm going to right-click on that individual border. I'm going to add a filter. When I add the filter over here, I get a plus sign just like you did on the first menu. So I'm going to hit that plus sign, and I want to do chroma key because I'm chroma key out the green. So when I click chroma key, I don't ever rename this. You can if you want to, but it changes. It's the same for each object, so it doesn't matter. You can't use it elsewhere. At least I haven't found a way to do that. Maybe there is. I just say chroma key, and it does what I want it to do. See how it took it out? Now I can look back there and see how well it did. That's perfect. I don't need to do any changes, but if I did, I can change the similarity, smoothness, and stuff like that to get that green just right if I need to. I hit close, and now I have a border for that individual. Now, what's cool about that, if I go to spot number 2, which I think it's me, it is, now I want to add that same border. I've already done all the legwork. This is awesome. So now all I have to do, it only has one source, just like the other one did. If I hit plus sign and I go to image, remember up here is where we named it and created a new one. Now I can go to add existing individual border, hit OK. Now it's there. Does anybody remember the shortcut that we used to make it? Does anybody remember?
Control F.
Control F. So I'm going to hit Control F, and looky there. It fits right to screen. I'm in the middle. Boom. The only thing that I might have to change is my zoom. But what did I not do? I did not lock before I did that. Always get in the habit of locking before you do something. It's just a good habit to get into because it's very frustrating. They don't have a Control Z or Control Z, whatever you want to call, depending on where you're. I think up in Canada, you guys call it Z or something. I don't know, but no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we pronounce it properly.
Okay. I hear you.
Good.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, please, yes.
When you created this, the green background, why did you need it? Because you have the artificial background view on Zoom, or is it another reason? You first had it green and then you kicked it out. Why didn't you or only do the red?
Okay, that's a good question. So let me show you why. Okay, I'm going to go back into the individual border, right click, and take the filters off, okay? I'm going to remove the filter, okay? So I have chroma key selected, and I'm going to take it off. Are you sure? Yes. So now I close it. That's all you'd see. I need to take out a color so I can see. Remember, I'm talking about layers. Below is me, and I have to somehow get to that. So the green, because I chroma key, it's like erasing. It's like a paint thing that just erases all the green because I'm chromaing that out. I can put this behind, but that's not what I want because I have my image in front. I want that border to come around me. So that's why you do a green screen, or you take out that color. If I go filter and I go back and do it again and I chroma key that out, and green, just so you folks know, green is a color that there's not in your skin tone. And it's the most friendly. It's like a blue screen. We do have blue tones, some people, in our skin and stuff. They found in most people, green is not in the color of our skin, so it makes it easier to chroma out certain things. So that's why it's green is the highly. I guess if there were Martians from the green planet. No, I'm just kidding.
Can I ask you a question on when you made that? I've done something similar, but when I created in Pixlr, I actually made that green thing transparent. So is there any advantage to using the chroma key filter over just making that oval transparency?
Okay, well, you're dependent on whether that is clear. Actually, I don't think there's either way is fine. You can go ahead and make it transparent. Then you have to make sure and save it as a PNG.
Yes.
All right, you have to make sure and save it as a PNG.
Yeah.
My way, I don't have to worry about how I save it. If you go ahead, because the default is JPEG whenever you save it in Pixlr.
Sure.
So if you forget and you save it that way, then it's not going to do you any good because it didn't save with the transparent background. So I always teach do the chroma key here versus there, but I don't think there's any reason why it's beneficial one way or the other.
Okay.
And still a question, chroma key, what does it mean?
All it does is chroma key takes out color. Like I could change this to, let me go to here, go to my filter. I can actually take out blue. I can take out magenta. I can take out a custom color. I can choose which color I want to select. I can pick one of these colors. If I have a background with one of these colors, like this kind of reddish or this purplish, if I have that as my, I can chroma that out. It basically, I don't know what the definition of chroma is, but it takes out. It omits that color. So if I'm wearing that red color in my shirt, and I don't know if you guys can see, can you see Andrew? Andrew, if you put your green cup up, I don't know if you guys can see that. But if
Not right now while you're screen sharing. But.
Okay, I can take it off for a second. That's one thing I know how to do. Let me take it off for a second. So if you look at Andrew's green cup, you see how because he has a chroma key on his zoom because of his background. Now, turn your background off, Andrew.
Okay, hang on.
So chroma is taking out the color that you have. So if you have a green shirt on, if I have a green shirt on today, all you're going to see is my arms and my face because I have a green shirt on. Okay. So now he turns it off. Now put your cup up. When he puts, you can see his green cup. Everything shows just fine because he doesn't have chroma on. It's not taking the green out. Now, if you put it back on again, just one last time, and you can see in his other, image.
I keep grabbing the wrong mouse.
Yeah. See, so again, so basically it's taking that green out. Again, like I said, if I have a green, and I'll give you an example real quick. I have this green blanket, okay, that I have, and I can pull it up and I can do just like this, and I pretty much disappear however I want. I can, that's how I do some of the tricks that I do on my YouTube channel. I can take half of me and put me like that. So I can do, so it's taking out that green color. So if I were wearing a green shirt, like I said, it'd just show through. You just see my head working and that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, but
that way, if you spilled, breakfast all over your shirt, you just wear green, then nobody sees anything anyway. They just see your head. So, hopefully that explains what the chroma does. Okay, good. I hear a loud sound. Do you hear a loud kind of? Is that Andy? Is that you or Bill or?
I don't know.
Mute for a second and see if it's you. Ah, it was Bill. Okay. Must be your fan or something next to the computer. All right. No worries though. No big deal. Okay. So I would do that with each individual one and just go through because, you know, this is fine. There's nothing wrong with this, but I would like to have that border just to give it a little bit of character. I can put my logo down the corner. I can put, you know, maybe their Twitter handle. You know, if you're doing this for a show, you can put their Twitter handle down there. You just add that in, that kind of thing. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do. And then I have that. And like I said, I have it at the bottom because once I'm done with it, I'm done. I don't need it up here. These are the ones that I work all the time. So I bring the 7 people in. I call it 7, but it's not really 7 now because, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and let me lock these all back because I want to move this and get this right. So if I'm off kilter.
You're not screen sharing, Michael, just so you know.
I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. So, okay, but are you seeing it now? Awesome. Okay. So I have them. I want to go back and lock them all. And what I want to do is I want to move the zoom capture. Okay. So I have right here, boom. All right. And I'm going to bring it down so it kind of fits in better. Everybody's kind of centered. Pretty good. That's good. Got a little black border. That's okay. I'm fine with that. I can clean that up if I wanted to, but well, let's just do it just so you can see. So if I make it smaller, oops, glad I only have this lock because it would have pulled something else. I get in the habit of that. I swear it's good. Good stuff. All right. So okay, so that's the edge there. That's the edge there. I can, if I want to, I can bring this down. The thing is, it has to be this angle right here, or this right here is not the same as this. It's not the same proportion. So it's not going to fit properly. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take some people off. So what you have to do is get close to that. I have to get like this and bring that in. Now I'm getting closer. I might not get it perfect. And that's why I leave a black border. But I could redesign. I could actually redesign this red border to be thicker and wider to cover that if I wanted to. But this is good for me. It's good enough for I love this. I think it's cool because it brings all you guys in and sees. Now, what I do, now I can use these spot 1, spot left, spot 2. I can use those as a source, okay? Right here, if you look, so when the game show starts, I have an animated background. I have the score, the timer. I have the score. Now the score did not pick up right. So if you look up here, I have to go in every show and readjust these. And I'm not real sure why, but I have to. So what I do is I usually go right here. You can see the ones I don't have locked and the other ones that I do. Since the countdown's over here and the scorekeeping's over here, I leave those both unlocked. And you say, well, why? I thought you said it's always a good habit. It is, but they're so far apart from each other when I highlight them. Like I highlight here, and then I'll highlight up here. You see how it has the green line around it? They're so far away from each other, I'm probably not going to mess that up. So what I want to do is, first of all, I expand the window just like this, and I can see that it's the timer. I need to go change that. So I right-click on scorekeeping, and when I do that, I want to go and I want to properties. I got to pick the right one. Okay. And what I'm going to look for is, as you see over on this other page or other side here, it should have scorekeeping, and it does. And it did not pick it up. So this is the quirk that it has in OBS. So if you're having these same frustrations, what you may have to do, and here's why. Here's why that happened. When I opened OBS, I opened that sheet afterward. And you're like, why is it not showing? It should be showing. But because I opened this after I opened OBS, okay, that was the problem. So what I usually do real quick, not during the show, I do this before the show, is I exit out of here real quick. Okay. Once I do that, I'm going to come back into OBS, reopen it. Oops. What is this? Oops. I don't know what that said. I don't know why it said that, but I got an error message. What is that? OBS is already running unless, okay. I must have hit it twice by accident. Okay, so now you can kind of see the yellow text from the text over here. So it did. It picked it up right this time because I came back in. So that can be frustrating sometimes. You're like, oh my gosh, I just changed it. Why is it not showing up? So now if I go to scorekeeping in YouTube and I go to properties, you'll see that it did pick it up. It picked up the right thing that time because I came in, came out and came back in. Now it's really big, so I've got to readjust it. So I've got to come over here, realign it. And the only reason that this happened this time was because I had to go out and come back. Okay, remember I was doing some manipulating and stuff like that. So now I have to go resize it. Okay, I got to bring it, I got to make it a lot smaller. There we go. There we go. And just resize. I usually take corner to corner. Now I got it. And I just move that. Now it's too big. That's fine. I can just shrink it down without holding Alt. And now I have the score and everything right there. And my timer got moved. So I want to move that back over here. So now I have that. Okay. Now, if you look down here, this is kind of cool too. Spot 1 and spot 2 of the contestants, I added a scene. Remember over here it says spot 1 and spot 2 in the sources. I mean, in the scene, excuse me. I brought them in as sources. To do that, I just hit plus, and then I want to bring in a scene. See how it says scene here? And I can choose any scene I want to. So any scene can be brought in as a source. Really, really cool. And look what it did. Because I brought in the source, look what it's doing there. You see how it gives the border? I don't know if you can notice that, but the border came with it because I'm using that scene. So that's kind of cool, but it's showing on top instead of down below. Okay, so I don't necessarily want that border. So one of the reasons why I didn't create the border and use it as the same, that's why I don't. So if I bring up, let's go back over to team 2 and team 3 because I didn't do those. So now I have these two and see how it's behind. That looks a lot more pleasing to me. Okay. So that's the only thing about using scenes versus using a scene as a source. It carries everything with it. This to me is a lot more appealing. I have look at how many sources we have here. It's incredible. All the stuff that I have here. On the tip sound, there's a sound playing right now. You can see right here on the tip sound and it's looping. If I can turn it off so I don't hear it. Okay. You're not hearing it out there because I don't have it turned on for you. I have it only turned on for me. But that's playing in the background. You'll see it bouncing. See, it's bouncing right there. And then these are, if for example, on the second scene, which I have the team, I name the people that come in. Like last night we had Katie and Phil in here. So I put their names there and it matches over here. So I know whoever is up next. I mean, this is all the work that goes into one show every night doing this. And I make sure they're in the right spot. It was perfect. Everybody came in. We were in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody came in the right order, and that's how I gave the teams. Then the last one was Susan and Terry, and that's exactly, if you look at the spots, the spots for me, not for you guys in Zoom, but Lowell Ann is in spot number 5, and Roy is in spot number 6, which is Andrew. That's perfect. It matches up perfectly. But notice again, remember, I edited the time. The time didn't have to change because it's set up right because I had that open before I came in, but the score did not. So I have to go in and I have to move this and change this, resize it, and get it just right. Boom, it fixes it. Okay. And I'm using the Alt key to do that. Just so you know, I'm using the Alt key to maintain and fix that. I come up here, I get that, adjust it just a little bit, and all those are right now. Okay. And I got all kinds of stuff working in here. Let's work from the bottom up. Okay. I'll turn everything off. Just remember this one is 3 and 4. I just have to remember because I bring in each scene in case I want to move somebody around. I can. Okay. So I have everything turned off. Okay. So everything's turned off. I'm going to bring the sound in first. I'll let you hear it. That's fine. You guys can probably hear it. No? Really? Now? Yeah, okay. I just didn't have it volume up high enough. All right. So I have that really low for the contestants, but the audience hears that out there, and it really kind of gives a cool effect because they're sitting there trying to give each other a clue and stuff. So I'm sitting there playing that sound, okay? I'm not going to play it right now. I'm just going to turn it off because you don't need to hear all that. Then I'm going to choose, the next thing I'm going to choose is, remember, we're layering. These are the layers. I put the 2 contestants right there next to each other. I got them, 3 and 4. The next thing I want to do is bring in, I don't remember everything that I had on, but I got the zoom capture. I don't need those. These are individual zoom captures that I used to use. I kept them around just in case these spots didn't work. So I don't need those anymore. I can actually delete those. I can get rid of those that don't need to be there because it's just extra space that it's just in the way for the most part. So Team 2 landscape, don't need that because it's a white one. There we go. I want the animated landscape. This is one that I designed and created that gives that. It gives it that red triangles that are floating up. It gives it a really cool look, especially during the time while people are trying to guess and give answers and stuff like that. So I added that. Be glad to create those at a very minimal price. Plus word logo, kind of cool. Puts the logo right there. Well, I wanted to have me on there because I'm giving the clues and stuff and giving, hey, 10 seconds left and stuff like that. So I brought in my C922 camera. Okay. So I put my camera right on top of the logo. They can kind of see that it's the plus word game behind me, but it also kind of gives it kind of a cool look, puts me in that circle. The plus word bend image. There's a bend of plus word. You can kind of see it going into the 2 people's video. Just to add a little bit, to give a little bit of something. I just did that for fun just to see if I could. And then scorekeeping. I bring in the scorekeeping and then the countdown. And that's the way I have those set up. So those are all the layers just to get one scene or source completely done. I have all of those elements in there. You can see how they're all layered to make them all sit where I need them to sit. Now, is it okay to have the countdown down here? Sure it is. That's fine. But I know every single time I come in here, I've got to fix the countdown and I got to fix the scorekeeping. So I always put those on top because I have to change those every single time I come into here. Now, when we get a correct answer, after they get a correct answer, I go back to the 7 people and I have an individual slide that I bring in to do that. Instead, see, if you see over here, we have fade. We have fade that normally, so if I was to go right here, okay, let me go from here to comments. Watch it'll fade, okay? See how it fades and goes into the next one? Okay, now comments aren't in there right now, and I didn't want to get to that yet. But the thing is, on a correct answer, it slides in. See how it does it? It's a unique one. What you can do now, and this just started with the latest version, you can right-click, and you can transition override. And I have a Luma wipe, and I have it set for 2 seconds. Whereas the fade is normally 3 seconds, 3000 milliseconds is 3 seconds. Okay. So this transition override for the slide, I have that Luma wipe is 2000, and it's 2 seconds pretty quick, but it also gives applause. I don't know, you guys couldn't hear that, but it also gives applause as well. So that's really kind of cool too. So I added those in. So all I have to do, I hit a button on my Stream Deck and boom, it takes me right to that when they get the answer right. So that gives me time to reset the time, add the score, go in, give the next word to the next team. And I got all that stuff going on while the clapping's going on and everybody's sitting there talking. It makes for a smooth transition. You guys don't see all the stuff I'm doing during when that happens, but it makes it easier for me because it's got a little bit of clapping. It goes through that. And then, those guys are all talking about oh my gosh, I gave this clue and I did. Those are kind of cool things that you can do in the background that make it easier if there's a lot that you have to do in the background. Yes, Andrew.
If I wanted to do a show and this particular scene was all I wanted on the show, in other words, I want the whole thing just like you've got, only I'd have my logo at the top, and that's the only scene that I wanted. I'm not going to have a lot of transitions or anything, but I want it to also be live streaming to YouTube, broadcasting out. So the time we're on is building watch time. All I would need would be the actual sources that you've got for that particular scene right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If you wanted to look just like this, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, just exactly like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. You could, yeah, and we'll go through this one real quick so you can kind of see the layers that I have for this. All right, so I have an actual applause sound that comes on. I have a correct response sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the drum roll part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have those two sounds that come in.
Okay.
Then I can go. I have my zoom capture.
Okay.
Okay. Then I have the blank red green that I used in the other one.
Okay. Take the border back out.
Okay.
Back to that. All right. That, let's say I'm trying to get as simple a layout as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can save that particular scene in a profile or something, can you then forward that to somebody else if they wanted to set up just like that, and all they have to do is open that file when they get it in their OBS and they're done? They don't have to go through all that setup?
No, the scene collection, I could create a scene collection with that, but to answer your question, the only way to send, I can't send an individual source. I can send a complete collection. This is a collection. All of this stuff on the left and right is a collection. I can send you the collection and you can go delete all that stuff, but I can create a new one. If I create a new one with just that on it, I would have to set those up. But yes, I can set up scene collections for people. And again, at a nominal fee, I could do that for you guys.
Well, see, what I was thinking was, the thing you and Gord are talking about packaging and sending it out. That, to me, that would be the easy way to do that.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So yeah, here's the border. Then I have the plus word logo at the top, and then I have one down at the bottom that I threw in the corner. So I have all those elements, all layers, all on top of each other. Remember, the flat, clear image screens that I'm putting up there. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
This is actually, and these things right here, like the logo, I'm just going to take the logo, for example. This is actually just a simple icon logo. Okay. It's not necessarily a full screen. Like, for example, this red line is a full screen with a green screen in the middle. Okay. Just so you know the difference. But this logo here is just, oops, I'm sorry. See, I hit something. I got the zoom capture. All right. This logo here is just a free floating logo that has a clear border, the green part of it, or it might be like Bill said, when I created this, I made this transparent on these. So I know that's a PNG that I have that I use for that. And this plus word, the other plus word with the text on it, that is, so you can see how big it is. The red around it, that's how big that one is. And I think that's kind of cool, bringing the hand in from the side and everything.
Yeah, I like that.
It just gives a different look, a different thing. So you have that. Okay.
Okay.
Comments. So comments, every single time I have to do this, just so you know, this is something that I have to do. I have YouTube comments sitting right here. This is what the YouTube comments look like. You can pop that out. Whenever you're in YouTube, you can pop out your chat. Well, what I have to do every single time is I have to go find that, because what it does is it tries to pull it for you, and it says YouTube chat. You see how it says YouTube chat, and it found it this time? I don't know why, but every single time I have to go get it. So now that I got it, I got it. It's there. It's cool. I got it. It's perfect. And I can expand this to make it fit more of the screen. I try to split it in half with the red and black behind it. And then if you look, I have spot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I have individual images of each of us in their own little square. So I wanted to see how that would work and see if it will work. And it's really, really cool. It's really neat how it turned out. I thought, well, that's a fun thing. So it's just a fun thing that I added just to see if I could, more than anything else. But it takes each individual image, puts it in there. So that was kind of a fun thing that I did with the comment. Now,
yeah, and it looked good last night when you used it.
Good. So one thing that we do in the game show, we have a bonus round and we have a one-word clue. So what I did is I actually created these as well, and I can do that for a minimal fee. The one-word clue, two-word answer, and I can let you hear the sounds if you want. I should have let you hear the sounds. Okay, that one's just, and it goes to a black screen. I didn't put anything behind it, but if you notice on the bonus round, I added the 7 people behind. A little bit different of effect. So that's the two differences. I have that one that comes over the top. So I have something to go to right afterwards. So I have the 7 people, and then whoever's doing the bonus round, I can actually go to them. So then I click on, like, let's just say Debbie and Andy on this first one, and I can start the timer at the same time. So I can do that and click the timer, and you can see the timer going with those 2 individuals. And that's how I do the bonus round. So I'm making all of this happen. Let's say they get the answer right. So I immediately go right here. I can stop the time and I can go, remember, correct answer. It gives the applause and the drum roll. Boom. I can go get set up for the next word. I'm doing all kinds of stuff behind the scene. I reset the time. I added the score. If they got 35 points, I add the points. I've been doing all that stuff while they're still talking about it. Oh my gosh, that was great. That was so cool that you did that. You know, they're all talking, having fun, while I'm sitting here making sure that I'm set and ready to go for the next set thing. So this shows you, okay, so the sources on this one, I already did that one. Comments, I did the sources. Okay, so comments for this, if I turned everything off, you could see I have to turn on all of these individuals. Okay, I have the 6 squares, which this image is right here. See, that's what it looks like behind that. Has all this stuff. And you actually see images behind that because what's on is this zoom capture. I got to get rid of the zoom capture. I don't need that anymore. I can actually delete that. Okay, I just don't clean up well, so that's why you don't see that. But the 6 squares right there gives me that. And then the live chat's on top. If that live chat was below, you wouldn't see half of it. So again, it's all about the layering, how you bring in. Everything's in a layer going through all the way up and through. So that way you can see how these are all put together. Okay. On the bonus round, all it is the 2 things. I can turn the 7 folks off and just have the bonus round play by itself, which is kind of cool. But then I have to go to something. I have to remember to go to something. What I did was add the 7 people so I don't have to remember to go to something. It actually goes to a scene with people in it already. And all it is the 7 folks that I pull from here. It's a scene. I just pulled that scene from the 7 folks, which is on my original one. I can switch right to it. You see nothing changed? I moved right to it and nothing changed because it's the same scene. Which is kind of that I just started doing that, just tested that 2 times ago just to see what that is. And then at the end, I play music. So all I'm doing is taking the 7 folks and play music. But this time I took it as a zoom capture instead of the 7 folks. Notice I didn't use a scene. But seeing it's playing the ending music while I'm still talking to the folks out there. Hey, if you want to come join the after party, come on in. These are, loved having you guys out there. Thank you so-and-so for coming, all this kind of stuff. And I have all those same elements that I had for 7 folks. So this is a completely different source. And I can go off of this. It's a completely different source. Maybe I can. Okay, good. But it has a lot of the same things. And what I did to do that was just copy it basically and added the music. So if you go here to the ending, you'll see the only difference here is the music. So if I go to ending, see it has the sound right here, ending plus word sound only. I created a file so I knew exactly what it was. And you can see it's bouncing. I know it's playing. And you guys know it's playing because I have the sound turned on right now. I can turn that off for you so you don't have to sit there and listen to that. And then when I only have 5 folks, what I used to do, that's for you can see the contestants. There's 6 people. Actually, it would be without me. It would be 6 people. I'd have 6 people in there. 3 teams. 2, 2, 2. 3 teams. Well, I do 5 folks for a 2 team. So I have that. I can always put that up there and swap it out. So if I only have two teams playing each other, all the same stuff works. And what's cool is the spots. The spots usually are pretty close for the 4, okay? But I could create a whole nother scene collection and call it game show number 2 with 4 people. I could have a 3 team or I can have a 2 team. I can set it up however I want. That's the beauty of this because I can duplicate this whole scene and have exactly the same and then go make the adjustments for the 2 team. That would be the easiest. That way I don't have to add a whole bunch of extra scenes. Let's say like I have all these spots made for a 16. Well, obviously with 4 images, you know, you can see on screen right now we have 6 images. If I only have 4 images, those expand and go a little bit different. It's going to be different size. So I'm going to have to resize all of those every single time I come in. I don't want to do that. I want to come in and just have it. So I would just duplicate. I would go to the scene collection, duplicate the game show. I'm going to duplicate it because that's the one I'm on is the game show. I'm going to duplicate that and then create a 2 team and then get those size right. Have not done that yet because I want to get all the features and fun figured out first. So I keep having people, I keep having 3 teams and hope everybody makes it each time. So that way it works. But you can see like when I do the H&M show, this is when we have a 3rd guest. We have a 3rd person in there. So when Heather brings something in, I've already created a 3 people H&M show and then a regular H&M show, which is the one called feedback. And this one is H&M with guest, an old one that I did. So these are all one OBS training that I did on the last video that I did for you guys. This was the OBS training that I set up. We created from the very get-go with nothing on it. And then here's a 3 team that I used in the past, but now the game show is straight up 3 teams. So that's the scene collection. So yes, you can import. Andrew, you could import. If I exported one for you, gave you the file, then you could import it into your OBS and you would have all that stuff, which is how I would gladly sell any of these to you guys. If you gave me the logos you wanted or the moving parts or the, like on these where the, you know, the has the cool thing in the background, I create a video to make that happen. See, kind of subtle little movement, but the music's still there. You have the music while it's going, while they're trying to give it, you know, anything like that. Or that's the stuff that I wanted to show today. Now, if you notice desktop audio, and Heidi, I want to try and touch on what you were asking, try and help you and try and figure out. It's going to be different for me, just so you know. I want you to know that it's going to be different for me because I use Voicemeeter, okay? Voicemeeter, I bring my sounds in. So I want to show you, I just want to show you, I don't want to confuse you. I don't want to overwhelm you. This looks intimidating. That's not the idea, but I just want to show you where my sounds are coming through. I use Voicemeeter for every bit of my sound, all of it, okay? So what I do is I have my microphone right here. So you can see every time I talk or say something, it bounces right here. Now, I have it named. I renamed this. This is Zoom, and this is Windows. This is my desktop Windows. I have all those sound coming in through that. So Voicemeeter controls everything for me. As far as when I don't turn something on, that would bring your sound out so the people in the real world in the game show can hear it. That they can't hear it, okay? This lets them hear my desktop sound. This lets them not hear my sound. But again, I don't want to get into a Voicemeeter tutorial. Voicemeeter is free. I can teach you how to do that.
No, it doesn't work on Mac.
Oh, it does not work on Mac. Okay, good answer. Good answer. Okay. And neither do I. I don't work on Mac, so so we have something in common. I don't have any inkling to attempt that, and it doesn't. So there you go. So that's a good. So, but anyway, so this is. I just wanted you to know how I'm bringing the sounds in and stuff like that. So, with that being said, if I go to File Settings and I go to Audio, okay, I have Voicemeeter, which brings my desktop audio in. You would have default, whatever your default is, should bring in your desktop sounds. But I have Voicemeeter.
I don't have anything on this choice menu. There is only how is it called? Disabled. Nothing else.
Disabled is all you have?
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. And my microphone is also controlled by Voicemeeter, but I was just going to show you that. Can you screen share so maybe we can see?
Yeah.
Okay. Just get the screen ready, and then whenever you're ready, hit the green screen share down at the bottom, so that way we can see just your screen. And you're on a Mac, is that what you said? Is that right?
Yes. Yes. Just a moment. I have to.
Oh, no, fine. No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Because I want to try and help you if I can. I just don't know that I'll be able to on a Mac because I'm not sure where your sound sources are on a Mac for everything else. So.
Yeah. I'm now here. Now I have to remember how it was, where we found that. Settings.
Yeah.
And then I went to audio.
Yeah.
Look, I have here desktop audio device disabled. And when I click on it, it is only disabled. And audio device 2 disabled. Click on it, is disabled. I have downloaded a program which is called I Show You Audio Capture. And this went into the mic auxiliary. But up here is nothing.
Very interesting. So it's not pulling your audio. Do you know how to go to, now I don't know on a Mac, so I don't know how to go into your desktop sounds?
Yeah, I think so. Preferences. I don't know what if you see that now.
I do. I see what you're. Yeah.
Okay, sound, output, no, or input.
Yeah, I would think output because that's what you're trying to do.
Internal speakers. Oh, maybe I should go into this. This is the program.
Yeah, maybe.
But then I wouldn't hear anything anymore.
Yeah,
but I hear you.
Yeah, you hear it. Yeah.
So I don't know. Oops. This is one. Boop. Now I go out of this and see if, when I go in again, if this
it's not bouncing, huh?
Changes something. Disabled, 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 disabled. No. Even if I have chosen this other program, it doesn't.
Huh.
Well, let me shut it down, the whole thing, OBS, and go in again. I don't know what you see now from my. Do you still see now OBS coming up?
I do.
Okay. So now I go to settings again and look into audio. Disabled, disabled, no, nothing.
That is really odd.
Yeah. But I think we found yesterday a way, Bill, to somehow have it. But Zoom, we get Zoom, but I wouldn't be able to broadcast anything from my computer, I guess.
Interesting. Try. I think it has to do with your Mac. So I'm going to give you a link. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put it inside this chat right here.
Okay. I stopped sharing. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
And what we found yesterday was by going into the as a source, you can actually add an audio input.
Mm-hmm. Here is that, and that might be what you already have. Okay, I'm just saying that might already be, but there's an article that
yeah, I have that. Uh-huh.
Okay, the Open Broadcast talks about right here in their thread of how to go through each process and make that work. So then you have, and it looks like you have that. I mean, it looks like you've done everything that they said, which it may be helpful reading though for you to read more.
Yeah. And I don't have that one. I have.
Well, it's something to give it a try, so maybe that'll help.
Okay. I screen share. I show you something because I just saw the same thing here too. Where am I? Let me see where I am. I'm here. Share. No, I have to share the. Excuse me. I have to share the one you sent to me. So where is it now? Where is it? Somewhere else on another. Yeah, it's in another screen. Go ahead. I first have to get it over here.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we just have to make sure. I think it has to do with the Mac system being able to pull in the system sounds and stuff. So that's my thought process. I'm not sure.
Probably because I see here something which could be the right thing, but I have to find out how I can bring it over to screen share. So Okay, now it should be here somewhere now. Wait a minute. Screen share. Oh yeah, here it is.
And I'm going to give you another source, just some things that I've seen out there on OBS.
Look here, they have this thing here. They have also disabled.
Right.
So
right.
probably, as we did yesterday, is probably the right thing. What we did.
Yep. So you'll just have to work further through that process. I'm going to give you another article. Here is another that might give you the exact same answer. I don't know, but those two are in the chat here, so you'll have those two. Click on those, see if those help you at all. Again, it's difficult for me sometimes just because I don't have a Mac, so it's hard for me to do that. So I have to. I try to go to that OBS page where it's a forum where they have questions and answers that you can do on stuff like that.
I actually went there.
Oh, good.
They said something, but I didn't understand what they said. They said only downloading, it's not enough. You have to do blah, blah, blah. But I didn't get that. So maybe I go there again and maybe then contact you or something.
Sure, absolutely. I'll try. I mean, like I said, it's tough for me because I can't actually do it because I don't have a Mac or whatever. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I want to try and help you if I can. Or maybe if I understand the lingo that they're talking about as far as, what particular thing they're trying to get to, like what resources or what, whatever it is, whatever area.
We'll go there again where I ask the question and try to find out what they answered.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing that I like too, is going into that forum and asking questions, because a lot of times they're very responsive. There's a lot of people out there that have the knowledge and stuff. And I am positive that there are Mac users out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Using OBS. I'm sure of that. I'm sure it's not just one-sided. Although a lot of times, sometimes it is. It's kind of weird how they'll do a program for one thing and not another. So, but.
Like Voicemeeter, because I was considering that, and also this Manicam, when you suggested it in the Ronnie Binzer group, and I bought Manicam, and
Mac is terrible.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree wholeheartedly. What else do y'all have questions on the stuff that I talked about today? Anything that you guys have as far as scenes, sources, any of that kind of stuff? Whether it's transitions or maybe the sound, and when to turn it on, when not. I'm not the best person to ask that because obviously I miss that all the time. But if you guys have any other questions, I mean, hopefully that taught you. I hope you learned a little bit today, about some of the things and especially like the layering of things and how that process works and how you get that, bring in what you want or don't want, those kind of things. You saw pretty much how I go through each individual thing, like for the game show. I've got nothing to hide, I mean, I want to show you as much as I know, because I don't know. I think it's important that you guys, I love it. It's so much fun. I think I should be able to do that.
So Michael, you're not the only one that forgets to turn audio on and off, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's becoming his trademark.
I just make it part of the show now.
But I have to say that your presentation here gave me a greater understanding of the flow of things and that whole concept of layering. It makes much better sense to me. Good. So I really appreciate that.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. That is what I want to give. You know what I'm saying? That's the things I can give, and that's the things I want to give, because you're absolutely right. The flow, it's easy to sit there and say, here, make a scene, here, make some sources. Now, how do I make that all fit together? How can I bring that so it's smooth and making these particular things happen in that way? There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scene whenever I do a game show, especially. There's a lot of stuff.
And Michael, don't you know that multitasking rots your brain?
That's true. That is true. but you also got to, that's funny you say that, but I really wasn't multitasking. What I was doing was it's one step at a time. I've learned to, okay, stop the time, reset the time, go add the score, hit this button to do this first, and then start doing so it really becomes methodical, and it is a system as opposed to multitasking, because you're right. I'm not a great multitasker. I'm not. But once it becomes habit of the process, then it becomes second. And you saw my placement. I mean, you see, I'll show you again. You see my placement, so I have it right here. Everything's right in the middle for me right here, and it's closest to my camera too. Mm-hmm. So right here, I'm not too far away with my eyes. I did that on purpose. Again, I really put some thought into this. I start it, I stop it, reset it, come over here, add a score to whatever team, erase all these, because this is what minuses the score, so I have to erase those. So that's my next process. I have the score already over there. Then I come over to the Hangout menu that's not anywhere. It's over on another monitor, and I have to put the next word in for the teams in the Hangout message box. So, but I've gotten it, like you said, I've got it into a system. And do I forget sometimes? Usually it's the sound.
Well, and what I need to experiment with is which screen. I have two screens, so which screen is the best place to put what? Mm-hmm. So I discovered last week in last week's show I started out by just watching the Zoom through OBS, but then I wasn't able to see enough detail up in the film strip in order to do the things that I need to do. So now for next time, I'm going to reverse it so that I've got I've got the Zoom right in front of me under my camera, and the OBS and all those other things off to the side. So I'll see whether that works next time.
Yeah, and you do speaker view, right? You don't do gallery view in Zoom, correct?
I'm trying to keep it at speaker view. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's the reason. That's why I'm very successful with what I do, because, and I'm just saying it, I'm not in a different way. I don't mean it.
No. Go ahead.
You're not successful. I'm not saying you don't understand it. Here's, because what I would do if I were you, I would go to what I did with the spotlight or the spot on, like I'll show you right now. So if you want to see the speaker, I have on one monitor my Zoom with all 6 of you over here. Mm-hmm. All 6 of you are over to the other side. So I can still see everything. I'm looking at you because Bill's on screen talking. If I want to go to, Heidi, I go to Heidi, but I'm still looking at 6 of you. Mm-hmm. So I always keep it in gallery view, but I can go to individuals whenever they're talking, and it has a nice transition to that next person too. Speaker view just goes right into the next person. Mm-hmm. Whereas here, I can make the transition whatever I want. I can actually change it to make it a cool little swipe view or something like that. I could have, if it goes to Bill, I do that slide over. But if I'd go to Andrew, it does like paints it off screen. Mm. I could do those kind of cool little tricks. So then that way the individual comes up just like I'm doing right now for you, but I'm still looking at the 6. And what I can do is I can actually, instead of having it as full screen, now it's going to mess it up, just so you know. See, it messes it up over there, which is fine. Let me go take it off full screen. Okay. Exit full screen. Okay. Now I want to bring it over here. So now everything's all on one screen. So I can actually have an OBS, everybody over. So one person shows up at a time as I choose them. Now it's going to be messed up because I had this over on my other monitor. I have 4 monitors. So I can always see the 6 people or however many people I have right here, but over there it's showing me individual who's where and what. That makes sense?
I think so. I can, but I can say for me, it will take a little bit of practice to be able to sort of do that. mainly because in my show, I'm leading the conversation and making sure that I'm following what people are saying, and that seems to be where my brain is for the most part, rather than what button I need to push here.
Yeah. So what might be cool for you though too, and I totally agree with you. Like let's just take for example, I have Bill and let's say Bill's talking. Since it's your show, you can always add in a scene, and I can add in if I'm the person I know I'm in spot number 2. I think I am, if I'm not mistaken.
You're supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be. So if I do that, so now there's me. And what I can do is I can make me down in the corner, so I'm talking to him. So I always have me there, so I don't have to worry about that either. So if I'm part of that conversation in the I can leave that down there. I can put a fancy little border around this, have my logo, have a triangle for the whole side. You know what I'm saying? Like a bottom corner, like I'm almost like a, how you have like a corner page flip up or something, and I'm underneath there. Something really cool. You could do stuff like that. So that's that's the kind of cool stuff that you can do. Have that animation or image down there where you're down there in the corner. I'm just saying you can do that kind of thing, So
I have another question. Is it possible, like in Google Hangouts, that you can have an administrator of your page channel, and that the other person can do all this stuff while you are leading the conversation? Or because I find it already difficult to think together with the people I'm talking, and then I should do all that stuff. Oh wow!
You can have another person that runs the Zoom. I mean, that runs the OBS. Whoever's doing all this work has to be on their live stream. Where it streams is up to you. You can choose in there, I'm going to live stream to your channel, but you're going to have to get their key, their stream key, and all that kind of stuff. So if it's your show, but you want to have, I don't know, let's just, for example, your son. If you have your son and you want him to run it because he can do all the stuff in the background, never be seen. Or if Bill, I'll just use Bill as an example. If I wanted Bill to run my OBS, here, Bill, I gave you the collection. You run the whole thing. I'm going to be the host on the show, but I want you to run it. I'm going to have to give you my stream key and my YouTube channel. So I'm going to have to trust him that he's going to do the right things there. But he can absolutely stream to my channel as long as he has that information. He could run the whole show, and I'm the host. So the answer is yes, but there's a trust factor there too.
Yeah, that was anyway when I had a manager for my YouTube channel. No, they can do the same things. I did it because we had so bad internet, and so I needed another person to keep.
And that's a great option for anybody who wants to do a show but hasn't really got the time to learn all of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
Right. So this is for me that if I don't make it until my panel, I will ask one of you to host my show.
There you go. There you go.
Good.
Not host, produce. You will still host.
Produce. Yeah, produce. Okay. No, that's relieving because so I don't want to mess it up, the last
well,
episode.
And the biggest thing is that you have to make sure that there's a trust there. You know what I'm saying? You have to have that trust because they are streaming to your channel. Now, what you can do is reset your stream key after every episode. So it's a whole new stream key. So that way they don't go back into that stream key and stream something that you don't want them streaming. I don't give that out. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't give anybody that because that's my stream key. But I understand what you're saying. I know how to produce and host the show, and it seems to work okay. But there's a lot of work going on. And the Stream Deck that Andrew got me, thank you very much, Andrew, helps me a lot because I can just I have my left hand that's just hitting buttons. I can pull up this scene. It works straight with OBS, and it's awesome. I don't have to, you saw me where I was punching each button and hitting this one and this one. I have a Stream Deck that just does it all for me. I just hit the right button. And I can show you that real quick, just if you want to see what that's like. I'll pull that up on screen. There's my Stream Deck. So when I change over to, there's the game show. So when I click team 1, it's right here. I have it right down there at the bottom. That's where my fingers sit. It's team 1, team 2, team 3. I can switch between the teams. And then if I hit the last one, I hit clap. That's when I get answers right. And I've added that icon. You can customize this to whatever you want. If I want to go to show the comments, I don't have to sit here and hit each different thing here in chance that I mess up and hit the right one. I can see that that's comments. I can go right to comments. I hit that button just now and it takes me to comments. If I hit the applause, if I hit the clap, it goes right from one to the other. I can go from one team. They get it wrong. I just hit the next button, go to the next team. I can go back out to this. I can go out to the 7 people. I'm just hitting those buttons. That's very, very useful because I don't have to worry about sitting here. Oh, did I hit the right one? I don't have to look down. I just hit those buttons. Very, very extremely useful.
Is it inappropriate to ask how much a gift costs?
A gift cost? These are about $150.
Oh,
I think.
Thank you.
I think that's what they are right now. Is that sound right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stream Deck is about $150. And, if you're going to be doing a lot of live streaming and you're going to be doing a lot of scene switching, then I would recommend it. If you're just going to have 4 scenes that you're switching between, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's not worth the time. But I'll show you one more time. I also use it because it's really awesome too, and I'll show you, let me pull it up. Let me go here. I use this to open up Chrome in the morning. I open up Voicemeeter in the morning. I just hit those 2 buttons. I can open up Zoom. I can open up Camtasia if I want to edit a video. I can open up ManyCam. I can open up Pixlr. So it'll open up a website for me. It'll open up anything on my computer. So I come in and I just start hitting those buttons, and that's how I start the day. You can use it for so much more and add so much. Anything on the system, if you look right here, I can open up a website. I can use a hotkey if I have something set on my Windows as a hotkey to open it up. I can do that. Any multimedia to get the sound, stuff like that. And here's where I do the OBS. I add a scene. I add a source. I can record. I can start the stream. All those buttons are there, so I can just do all that from right here if I want to. But again, and I have no idea whether this works with Mac. I'm just saying, Heidi, just so you know.
Yeah. I have still another question. I know that there are people who do live streaming to several things, to Twitch, to YouTube, to blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. How do they do that? Is it with this software or is it others?
No, it's called Restream, and you can see I have an account right here. I'll show you. This is a Facebook, and this is YouTube, and I can add any other channels. If I add like Twitch,
I don't see it. I don't see it.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not sharing. I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm sharing the screen now. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is called Restream.io. So I have YouTube right here. I have Facebook right here. So I can stream to the 2 of those at the same time. It gives you a whole different Restream key and URL to use. So I have to put those in my OBS to make that work. I can add channel. I can add Twitch, Mixer, all kinds of stuff. YouTube events or Stream Now or any of this kind of stuff. All these different things. But that is a paid for thing, and it's very expensive, I think, over time to keep it rolling. So I don't do this anymore. Plus, for me, it's a personal thing. I want to have everybody watching on YouTube. I don't want them watching on Facebook because you know what? Facebook blocks the fact that I don't get view time in YouTube for something that's viewed over there in Facebook or on my website. I want it all done on YouTube because I want the view time. I'm trying to build my view time on YouTube. So that's why I don't do that anymore. I actually only did it for 1 month, but my month is almost up. I think it's like 2 days or something. But Restream. There are other things out there. A product called vMix, which is extremely awesome. But my Stream Deck doesn't work with vMix is the only reason I'm not using vMix. But as soon as they get compatibility, I'll probably move to vMix because I can bring comments on screen from Facebook or YouTube when I'm streaming. I can also add I can stream to 2 sources. So I can actually stream to Facebook and there through that software. I don't have to I don't have to pay for any other software. So that's probably why I would make a move if I decided to go that route. I'm going to go ahead and end because we're at like almost 2 hours or something like that, hour and a half, whatever it is, as far as this recording. So I'm going to stop the recording and we can talk further, just so you guys know. But thanks for coming today. That's awesome. And I'll have this for the community. I'll put it up as